Your first memory.
Let's see. I've been married 33 years. So I was 22. Probably about when I was 20 years old, which was about 38 years ago now.
Do you remember the first piece that you ever got?
This one here.
This is the first?
That's the very first one.
Nice. I mean, as we put together our collections or whatever they may be, is there any sort of reward for you to have these things?
Yeah, the uniqueness, because this isn't a collection you see a whole lot around.
Right.
Pat O's has a great collection. That's how I really got interested. We used to go to Pat O's. Spent many a day there and see all the steins up on the wall, up on the ceiling, and just liked them and thought it was interesting, and that's really what got me into it.
You've had your collection for a long time. Have you ever had a piece that you either sold, that you lost, that got broken in any way that still kind of haunts you to this day?
No, knock on wood, we have not broken any pieces. And we've used a few of them. This one has never been used just because of the price and how it is. It's got the lithophane in the bottom, so that one's never been used. But we have used some of them. We have had fun with some of them because you got to figure out how to drink out of it, or you get water all over, or you get beer all over you. But no, luckily, knock on wood, never lost. Will not sell them.
Right.
Because my wife's giving me some now, the kids have, and just over the years just liked them.
Where do you see the collection going throughout the rest of your life, or is it something you plan on,
Well, as you can see, I've run out of room. The next step would be hanging them from beams or putting another shelf somewhere else. We had that wall specifically made when we built the house. We knew how big that piece was and where it was going. So that wall had to be big enough for that piece because that's where the steins were going.
So you built an entire wall in the house for the beer steins?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we really did. That was where it was going. We wanted it there. That was going to be the bar area, so it had to be this dimension, I really haven't, I'm picky now about the ones I buy. I really am. I'll see some and I'll look at them and just, nope, don't want it. I'm very, very picky now.
Is it just a feel you get when you're looking at it?
Yeah. Yeah, something
catches your eye.
Yeah, exactly. The painting, the way it looks,
right.
Just something. I guess things you collect, it when you see it,
right.
You want it,
right.
And you got to have it.
Right. Yeah, those definitely. There's not really like a complete list.
No.
Like there's not like, okay, well I've got 30 of the 60, 1,000 beer steins that are out there.
Exactly.
So, there's tons of them.
Exactly.
So you don't go for any particular country of manufacturer? Or?
I try to stay with Germany.
Yeah.
I try to stay with Germany, and then there's the distinction. You can tell if they were made before World War II or after, because they will have Germany or West Germany.
Yeah.
So if they have West Germany, that's after World War II. So you can kind of age them by that.
Yeah.
This one is from early, turn of the century, 1900, maybe even before. I do know that. There are some other ones that are from way before World War II. I know that turn of the century, but as far as dating them, I've never looked them up to see or anything else exactly how old or anything like that.
So you were in Pat O'Brien's. You saw the collection. You're like, that sounds like something cool, or seems like something cool you'd want to get into. Tell me about when you actually went from that idea to actually going out and purchasing one. Do you remember like where you were at, where you bought it from?
Yeah, I was at, used to be Oakwood Mall. I mean, not Oakwood, I'm sorry. The one in New Orleans East, whatever these, Lake Forest.
Yeah.
Lake Forest Mall. And they were having an antique show, and I was out there going to pick up my girlfriend from work, and they had an antique show, and she wasn't ready to get off yet, so I was just walking around. This guy had steins, and this one I liked, and that was it. Okay, this is one that has a lithophane in the bottom, and it's etched into the porcelain, and there will either be a man and his wife, a man and his girlfriend, whatever, or a woman, two women reading, a tavern scene. They have ones with nudes or partially clad women, but those are newer ones. The original steins with the lithopanes did not have any of that in it. Didn't have the nudes or the women or sex acts, whatever. They always had a tavern scene, man and his wife, women reading, something like that. It also got to be a big thing for the military back in the 1800s, and it continued. And this is one that is from the king of Bavaria, and I cannot remember his name, but his picture is in the bottom of the stein. Wow. History says that the lids came about because of the plague that killed 25 million people in Europe. And back in the late 1400s, Europe, particularly Germany, was being invaded by hordes of flies and fleas. So Germany passed a law that all food had to be covered, including drinks. So thus the lid came in. And that's when they started putting it to where they made the thumb hold, so you could just hold the beer with one hand and open it with one hand and then close it. And that's how the lid came up. And there's all different types. And the lids will relate to the stein. This was the king of Bavaria, thus the crown on top. This is one of the military steins, and since this is the military, it tells a story of a particular battle. You can see the cannon on top. And then this one has the man and the woman in the bottom. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Germany had passed a law back in 18-something, I believe it was, that any product made in Germany that was going to be possibly shipped out had to be marked made in Germany or Germany. This guy here is nice. Nothing, just a unique character. And this is one of the ones I will use for beer. But on the bottom, as you can see if I turn it right, it is made in Western Germany. So that was not before World War II. Now this is the one my wife gave me. The steins, as you can see, this is the crystal. You got the porcelain, the pewter, cut glass, and this. The color, the top, has never been used by me, at least. You can see the red reflects in the handle.
Yeah, that's nice.
In Switzerland, I believe they were made of wood. I've never seen a wooden stein. Just never have. I'd like to see one, but I have yet to see it.
What is this one here made out of? It's interesting looking.
The one on the very end?
It looks like stone or something.
Yeah, I don't remember what that is. I don't even know if that is. Oh no, that's not even a stein. That is a bottle. My wife just put it up there. The kids want something.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle. It really is. And then let's see if I can find one. That one was made in England. Of course, you can tell kind of the English guy there. And then just like the busty woman here, it was just a unique little thing. Hadn't seen one before. I was like, oh man, neat. So I just got it. Let's see, I'm trying to find one. Here you go. This is the made in Germany. So this is before World War II. Now they had a company, Metlock, and they were the real famous stein makers back, I think, in like 1850 to about 1900, and they had like 1,200 employees. I mean, back at that time, it's a lot of employees, and most of them were classical artists, hand painted their steins. I'd love to find those, but I don't know if I could afford one.
Right.
I really and truly don't. Now, our military has gotten in on the military steins, and this is from a deployment from somebody that was in Saudi. Got a Ferris wheel, old type Ferris wheel, and this is the Dover Avino nonstop 11 hours. This was from June to December of '57. the stories, you know, they got the writing. I do not read German, so I can't tell you the stories. I've looked up some of them to find out what they meant, but they just have stories of taverns or, you know, local towns. The towns along the line were making theirs to for the little towns to tell what the town was like and everything like that.
Is that a Stein? That looks like a vase.
No, it's a Stein. This is one without the lid. It's kind of like those yard beers that you can get at places, you know. Another military one with the flat top. And if you see the dot, besides from the dust, it's a little darker than the inside because it's normally closed. And this one has a man and his wife. He's getting ready to go off, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Now, these two right here are fun for parties. As you can see, they have holes. The idea is to figure out how you can, which hole you can drink out of without getting wet. Because you see the holes are on the side, and they have holes up here that you can drink out of, and if you do it right, you will not get wet. But if
see how that works.
But if you do it wrong, you're in trouble. And this one I'll clean it out. This one has the nude in the bottom. Yeah, those are fun. I'm telling you, that's a trip, man. More people, and it really frustrates them, and they determined to get it. And there's a little trick that you gotta do. There is a hole under the handle, and nobody knows that. And you put your finger over the handle, and then you can suck out. You can put your mouth on it and tip it, and then you won't get wet. But we don't tell anybody that. We let them all get wet.
I think the cat might be out of the bag here, too. If they watch this.
Yeah. Neat little fox handle.
Like, how old would you say this one is? If
you know, this one was made in Germany, and the way the writing is on the bottom, it probably around the turn of the century. Yeah, it is. But it tells of a hunting scene.
Yeah, and that's all painted, hand done, right?
I don't know if this one's hand done or not. There's one I was looking for, and I cannot. You know, and they're just different sizes. You got the straight cylinder one, you got the fat ones. But they all tell a different scene. This is a hunting scene. Got dead deer, the dog, whatever he's holding. Just a countryside scene. Bavaria. You know, women out in the field or whatever. Really running out of room.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And this is just something I saw in a shop. Thought it was a little, different.
So is the Stein is basically a mug, huh? It doesn't have to have a top on it?
Well, the Steins have the top on them. A mug does not have a top, and this is considered, the pewter ones are considered tankards. If it has a top, it's a Stein. Doesn't have a top, it's considered a mug.
What about these little ones here?
Just different things.
A little shot glass, it looks like that one.
Yeah, and this one, I like the top. Got the little dog head. I assume that must be some royalty because he sure looks it.
Bacchus.
And just something that was different. I mean, just a different type of mug, or Stein, I should say. That's just, this little one here? Yeah, that was just, I don't even know if I bought that, or my wife may have picked it up because she goes antiquing a whole lot more than I do, and she sees something she likes and she'll bring it home. But it's just different. They tell stories. I don't know which stories they tell because not speaking German, but bar scenes were prevalent in most, bar scenes or hunting scenes seems to be the biggest theme.
The Germans look like they enjoy it there.
Definitely. And this one has a clock on top.
What time do you think it says?
Don't ask me.
No beer o'clock.
Yeah, no beer clock. Probably you're right. So, but this one, another little one, just different scene. You know, got a little town. Looks, I have no idea who the guy is, but just something that hits you. Yes, I love you too, Jealous. Yeah.